See that there? That's my desk. That's literally like, I spend so many hours of my days, every day, sat in front of that desk, editing videos. And sometimes you think, is this even worth it? Like, trust me, YouTube revenue is poor. But today, I hit 50,000 subscribers. 50,000 subscribers. And for me, like, I don't know what this journey's about. I don't know why I keep going and going. I just enjoy it. I like making videos. I like filming. I love camera gear, and it's quite an exciting thing. It is actually something I would recommend to people. If you want to be a YouTuber, get straight on it. Don't mess around. Get on it. That's what I done. I've been doing it for a long time, but about 9 months ago, I decided I just want to do Diary of a Car Trader. The next episode of Diary of a Car Trader. And then tell everyone at the end of the video, just like I've done there, in the next episode of Diary of a Car Trader, there's another video. And it kind of works. So I'm on about episode 82 or something like that now. 2 videos a week, Wednesday and Sunday. I've been uploading constantly since episode 1. And it has done my channel so good. As soon as I uploaded the first episode, things started picking up. And been doing it for all this time now, about 8 or 9 months, however long it's been. And I just hit 50,000 subscribers. So before we get on this video, I need to say a huge thank you to everyone who, like, everything you do is a contributor to me hitting 50k today. Whether you comment below, you hit like, even just watching my videos, you share my videos, you talk to your mates about my stuff, you follow me on Instagram, whatever. All of that is a contributor to me hitting 50k today. And I feel like I owe you lot a huge thank you.
Thank you. You love me. You really love me.
Right, so I just bought this old Bentley Arnage, and I weren't going to do a video on it because, I don't know, it's sort of out of theme for the channel, but I put a little thing on my Instagram story asking you lot if you want to see more on it, and the poll decided that I had to do a video on it basically. So today's video is a 2003 6.75 litre V8 twin turbo Bentley Arnage. Where on earth do you start with a car like this? The size of it, I think that's the best thing to start, because obviously it's a huge car, isn't it? It's actually almost 5.5 meters long, so it's a proper long car. And I think I just looked online, a transit van ain't even 5 meters long, so it's longer than a transit van, which is quite amazing, really. The boot is partly to blame for that, because look at that size of that bloody boot lid. In fact, if I open this boot, look at that badge, look, Bentley badges everywhere, by the way. It's just like little touches like that. It's not really, it's high quality for its time, isn't it? That's what it is, high quality for its time. So if someone's done this dodgy old key, that's not, they've kind of replicated a modern key. I don't like the idea of that, so I'll probably be getting an original key for it. But the boot, yeah, let's not look in the boot. Well, you can if you want. That's my camera gear. The boot lid, we've got carpet on the underside of the boot lid. And the boot lid itself is a serious thing. It's like, yeah, it probably weighs more than that caravan over there, doesn't it? But we'll shut that door. As we go around, another Bentley badge there. The weight of the doors. Let's talk about the weight of these doors. Honestly, I can't even, how can I explain about the weight of them doors? They just feel ridiculously heavy. And again, if you look on the interior, I've got these Bentley badges everywhere. Look at that, for when my camera decides to wake up. There you go. Detail, proper wood as well. Well built car, hand built in England, but there is some German. I'll talk about the story of the Bentley story in a sec when we're out driving. But if we jump in here, I don't know why I've decided to get in the passenger seat of the car today, but It's just so happened like that. Gear stick, look at it. When you ever see cars like this, look at these buttons. It does need a clean, so kind of you do really need to look beyond that. But they are the switches for the windows. Just put the windows up and down. Little touches like that. Look at that. Look at the effort that's gone into making them switches. Now, if you look here, that has definitely been stolen from a 5 Series BM or an E46 3 Series maybe, but that's BMW stuff there. So I don't really know what the crack is there, but you know, it's nice to see some German stuff in it. It's got a very good quality German finish to it, and that's what some of the older Bentleys didn't have. We've got blue leather with white stitching all the way across the dash here. Pop-up screen. I don't know if that's standard on it. I know it would have a pop-up screen from factory, but that's an Alpine one. It looks like it's been aftermarket fitted, but that's a nice touch. It's very modern for its time. Bentley badge in the middle of the steering wheel. I suppose like every car on the planet has got a badge in the middle of the steering wheel, but that does look quite a classy steering wheel, doesn't it, for an old car? Bentley badges on the seats, and we've got like quilted leather. Again, like high quality. There's no, obviously the leather's a bit not even worn. It's kind of lost its colour slightly with age, but it's worn very well, I'd say. The floor carpets. Let's look at these ones here. Yeah. Look at them. So you've got these proper floor carpets. Below that you've got another floor mat, and then below that you've obviously got the ground of the car. But even that, look, they must weigh some, surely. And I think all of this adds up to, even that bloody lock, that looks like a serious lock. It looks like something from a, I don't know, like a Banham lock or something decent. I used to be a locksmith, by the way, so stuff like that does stand out to me. But something else, the roof. Look at the sun visors, just all this extra effort. Everywhere you look, there's extra effort. Them handles. I know I'm going maybe overboard, but I get excited about this sort of stuff. This is like seriously high quality stuff, isn't it? The back seats, look at them back seats. Loads of leg room, loads of space in the back. The Bentley sort of themed door trims continue in the back, and yeah, it's just a nice place to be, whether you're in the back or in the front. So I think what we all want to do is want to get out for a drive. Let's jump in the driver's seat. What I'll do is I'll stop banging on about what's going on the interior. As much as, do you know what, I could talk about this interior all day long. Look at it. But I ain't gonna bang on about it too much more. We'll go for a little drive and I'll talk about the way this thing drives. Okay, is that all? That looks all right to me, I think. Tighten that up, and key in ignition. Bit pointless really having this push button start, because you sort of put the key in ignition, turn the ignition on, and then you move over to the start button and start the engine. Seatbelt on, and that stereo down as well, I think. Put it in drive. You know, before we go, put it in drive, yeah? So to move or to select a gear on the gear stick, it's just you lift the gear knob up. I know that's not even nothing too exciting, but it's different, isn't it? And even the clicks through the gear gator just feels nice. The seat's pretty comfortable, got the adjustments all here, it's all good. Kind of got myself ready before I got on cam. There is loads of adjustments to this seat. Oh, I've messed it all up now. Yeah, I've messed it all up. Oh, what? Is that right? Oh, that's for the steering wheel. Wondered what that button was for. There's my BM over there. M135i Beast. That's also got about the same amount of power as this, funny enough. 440 bhp, 450 bhp, but that is like, yeah, this is definitely not as quick as that. Different machines though, aren't they? Let's get on the road and see what this thing's like. A Bentley, a bloody Bentley. So let's talk about the Bentley brand. I think that's a good way to start this drive in an old Bentley. I think I might need to do that window up. It's so hot in here. I've got aircon on, but I suppose it is a little bit cold. But as I mentioned earlier, at this point in time, in 2003, Bentley, the brand, was owned by the Germans, right? I don't know the full story. I'm not even going to begin to talk about the story like I know the ins and outs of it, but it's somewhere along the lines of BMW were trying to buy Bentley and Rolls-Royce, but they missed out on some kind of trademark deal. I don't know. And VW got involved and there's a lot of politics between all of them, but the end result was VW ended up owning Bentley and BMW ended up owning Rolls-Royce. At this stage in time, it must have been, the politics must have been present whilst this car was being built, because like I said, it's they were owned by VW, but we've got BMW parts in it, and I think the earlier Bentleys had a 4.4 V8 BMW engine under the bonnet, whereas this is a Bentley's own engine, which was nothing to do with BMW, as far as I know. Okay, like I say, I'm not going to pretend I know the ins and outs, but it was along them sort of lines. So, but it done one thing that is a fact, right? Is it done the Bentley brand a world of good, because I had, I say I or we, me and Leon, we had an old Rolls Royce come in a few years ago. And I remember when we was getting our hands on it, I remember the guy opened up his garage door, and well, even when he rang, he's like, yeah, I've got an old Rolls Royce. I remember thinking, an old Rolls Royce, we're gonna have an old Rolls Royce. And I was so hot. I'm so bloody hot, sorry. Sweating, man. We've had a good summer though, haven't we? It's like, it's been a wicked summer. And I remember the guy opening up his garage and seeing the back end of this Rolls Royce in his garage, and the bonnet, the whole front end. It's a huge car, and I was excited about collecting that car. It's a really old thing, like an 80s car, and big V8 under the bonnet, serious bit of kit, yeah? When I got in that Rolls Royce, I was disappointed, and at that point in time, Rolls Royce and Bentley, I'm pretty sure they were one group. Again, don't quote me on that, I don't know the full story, but Bentley and Rolls-Royce, they looked identical. They had this big, ugly, square-shaped body, and it was very well built, but it was kind of, there was just something, it was lacking. So my big excitement for it, the bubbles just burst when I drove it. It had no power, it's a bit boring, I don't know, it's just a big old tank. This car, obviously being German built as such, is a completely different thing altogether. The quality, the finish, the build quality, the overall drive, the way it delivers power, everything about this car is a massive, massive improvement on the earlier Bentleys and Rolls Royces. And honestly, that sort of German touch really does show. And I think that's part of the reason why these cars have held their money so well. And it is a 2003 car, it's not massively old, it's kind of not in the classic sort of side of its life yet. There's a pigeon just trying to, wants to get flattened by a Bentley. But usually cars of this type of age would have lost all of their value, but for these cars to be, they sort of start at about £20,000. For any car to have held its money that strongly for all that period of time, it kind of goes to show that they are a car that is liked and demanded. Now let's quickly talk about power delivery. Now, obviously, it don't drive like a sports car. There's a bit of slack, a bit of play in the steering, as you can probably imagine. So it was at this point of the video where I decided I need to turn around and go back out into the country lane so I can show you lot how this car performs. Then, out of nowhere, this happened. No brakes, no power steering, and the big 2.5 ton Bentley is travelling towards a parked car. Oh, what the f*** is cut out? Oh my god. I can't believe this. I've run out of petrol. Oh, what? So, the one thing I didn't notice, I was just driving it, I was thinking, yeah, if I broke it, like I was flooring it and it was a bit juddery, and I don't know, it weren't doing what I wanted it to. Put it in park, and it's f***ing run out of petrol, isn't it? What am I going to do now? What am I going to do now? There's a pub there. Convenient, isn't it? Just broke down outside a pub. Maybe I should just pop in there for a bit, but... Oh, why is it that, like, I ran out of petrol in that Jag, didn't I, on the motorway? If you haven't seen that video, go and check it out. I think that up there, or is it up there? I don't know how these bloody card things work. I always forget where they are, but yeah, I've just run out of petrol again. And do you know what the funny thing is? I'm not one of these people that runs in the red. I hate it. And had I have seen that, I would have put fuel in the tank. There's probably a fuel light on the dash, I just didn't see it. Now the funny thing was, today I kind of woke up and I thought, I don't really need to film anything, but I wanted to film something. And then I've done the poll on my Instagram and everyone's like, Calvin, film the Bentley, film the Bentley. So I've done it. And I didn't really need to film anything. It's a Saturday night, I'm boiling hot. I just want to wrap this video up in a positive way, because that's what I like to do about everything in life. Finish on a high note. And I think, yeah, I want to just get on with my evening. So let's get that seatbelt off. I'm so hot. To summarise the Bentley, let's summarise it. Interior is phenomenally good. The German build quality really shines through with this car. They're so much better than the early Bentleys. And obviously as time went on, Bentley just improved as a brand. And the later ones are phenomenal. They're so good. I'm a big fan of Bentley as a brand. I love the way the later ones drive. The way this thing drives is amazing. But it doesn't drive like a sports car, as you can imagine. My intention or my plan was to turn around and show you what it drives like, but obviously now that I've got no petrol, I can't really do that. But it is a 450 bhp, which is a massive amount of power, but it does weigh 2.5 tons, so power to weight ratios are not very high at all. So I think so build quality, amazing. Interior, amazing. Even visually, I know they're a big sort of ugly thing, but they look so much more modern than the older Bentleys. And I think the summary for me in this video is, if you're ever out and about in a Bentley, realise that the fuel gauge is kind of out of sight all the way over there. Make sure you look at the fuel gauge and bear in mind that they're definitely not very good on fuel, because Leon put 20 quid in this thing yesterday morning. We've done a bit of driving in it, admittedly, but 20 quid hasn't got us far at all. So yeah, that's as best as I can summarise this video. So thank you very much for watching. If I do manage to do some draggy times in it, I will post the results on my Insta story. I might even do a separate IGTV video based, just literally focusing in on draggy times for this Bentley. But it is a phenomenal car. I bought it to sell it. I've not bought it to keep it. It's not really something that, it doesn't have a purpose in my life. I did think about keeping it to rent it out for like weddings and that. I might actually do that. Who knows? But thank you very much for watching. I don't know what the title of this video would have been, but I might have clickbaited it and said I broke down in my old banger of a Bentley. But whatever it was, it's been a fun day for me. But I need to look at the sweat on my head, man. I need to wrap this video up. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit your like if you liked the video. Hit subscribe if you're new. And I'll see ya in my next video, alright? Bye. In the next episode of Diary of a Car Trader, I managed to get my hands on this Porsche 911 992 Carrera 4S. But the big question that everyone's got is it the quickest thing to 60 on my CCD Draggy leaderboard? Find out on Sunday at 6 o'clock.